by chance, I went to the golf course with my father. He started playing. I started playing. I had good company. Started got involved.
He was an amateur golfer.
He just played for fun.
He was a legend. You need to match up to him. But you had that pressure too. But you turned it on its head.
My dad was this person who was very firm. Dinner, everybody, 8 o'clock in the evening on the dinner table. I gave him the prize money. I said, thank you, Dad, for what you've done for me in my life. He said, son, would you like a drink? So, ek piya, do piye. Jab maine third drink dala, so he used to look at my mother and says, Mama, ये sportsman है. Third drink पी रहा है. कहते sportsman 2 से ज़्यादा नहीं पीते.
Oh, what was your experience when you were teeing off with Tiger Woods?
Tiger was the hottest player, and I said, Tiger, don't be nervous today because there are going to be a lot of Indians following me. So we tee off on the first hole. As we're walking up, and he says, Jeev, I see a lot of white Indians following us today.
Welcome to Duologue, Jeev. Great to see you. I think about a couple of decades.
Sure, it has been a long time, but time flies. Barunda, it's glad to be sitting with you and having a chat.
Excellent. So I'll start off with that, Jeev. When I met you last time, this thought crossed my mind. You know, you started in the early 90s, and almost at the same time, India embarked on a journey of economic liberalization. And then now, I mean, we are the 5th largest economy right now, and would become the 3rd largest in next few years. And your career, Jeev, also had started spanning out in the early 90s. You turned pro in 1993, possibly.
That's right.
So we know the India story. I always wanted to ask you, what's your story? What happened before that as you embarked on your journey, which is astonishing and splendid?
You know, if I want to start, how I got introduced to the game of golf was because of my father. He started playing golf at late 50s. He was in his 50s, and I must be about 7 or 8 years old. And he went to the golf course, and I went with him. And I saw some other young kids playing there. And I said, okay. And not many. There were only about 4 or 5 of them. And I started going with him regularly. I had company there with these youngsters. So I started playing golf. Then I played junior golf, did well. I played amateur golf, represented India in the Asian Games. I played in the Eisenhower, the World Cup. And then it was decision time. It was in 1993 that I picked up the phone. I got a golf scholarship in the US in 91. First, I got it in 90, but coming from a Punjabi house, I couldn't do anything on my own in the US. I ran back home and I said, oh, I'm homesick. I cannot stay here. So they said, okay, come back. Then I again got the opportunity in 91. I went back to the US, Abilene Christian, Texas. And I got a golf scholarship there. And in 93, I won the NCAAs. I was All-American, first team.
That's your first major win.
NCAA Division II championship is the biggest championship in colleges in America.
Right.
Okay. And NCAA Division I is the highest level. Division II is the second level. So I won that championship. I won the Division II. Then I picked up the phone in 93 in May, and I said, Dad, I want to be a professional golfer. He said, I sent you there for education. Sports में कुछ नहीं है बेटा. कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. चलो मैंने कर लिया, but no, you need to get a professional qualification and then get a proper job. I said, no, Dad, I love this game. I want to be a professional golfer. He said, okay. I don't come from a business house. I'm a self-made man and I'm from a sporting background. I don't have that kind of funds. If you want to take the plunge, please go ahead. But after 5 or 10 years, don't come back and say, कि मेरा बस हो गया, मेरा injury हो गया, या, or I've had enough, I can't do this. He said, you'll have nothing to fall back on. So my back was against the wall. So I said, okay, I love this game and I'm going to take the plunge of going ahead and becoming a professional golfer.
Brilliant. That brings me to one perspective, Jeev, that I always say that if you have a plan B available for you, you may not give your 200% to plan A. So Milkha uncle had made it very clear to you that you only have plan A, because if it doesn't work in 5 years, you won't have a plan B.
For sure, there was no option B
There's
for
no
me.
option. There's no option.
There was only option A.
So golf happened by chance for you.
Yes, by chance, I went to the golf course with my father. He started playing. I started playing. I had good company. Got involved.
He was an amateur golfer.
He just played for fun. Dad just played for fun.
How much do you remember his?
His handicap used to be best handicap was about 7.
Oh, that is brilliant.
He became a single-digit handicap.
That is brilliant.
But he loved the game.
He loved the game.
He loved it. He said, "Yeah, मेरे को बचपन में किसी ने क्यों नहीं सिखाया golf खेलना? I would have become a golfer instead of a runner."
बचपन तो कहीं और गुजरा था.
So he says, the background I had, you've got this opportunity. Might as well avail of it. So I took the plunge in '93. I turned pro.
So you anyway had the gene of sportswoman and sportsman. Your mother was also national level volleyball player, right? And obviously, Milkha ji was a legend. So this gene would have helped. Golf is not seen to be a great sporting in terms of fitness, but I'm sure that gene would have helped you.
I think the mindset and the talks we had at home helped a lot on the dining table.
Right.
My dad always said this to me. He says, son, hard work and practice is the only way you get that belief in yourself. With experience and age, I realize now that was so true. And it couldn't have been worded in a better way to me. And it was like a record every day on the dining table. And God bless his soul, I miss him a lot. But and I do a lot of mental training, Barunda. And now I realize that it all comes down to that. I think a human being is only what keeps him from doing well is fear of failure. And I had many a time spoken to Dad that, if I hit this shot, I won't win this tournament. He said, fear of failure is only going to get away from a human being when he works hard enough and he gets that belief in himself that he can repeat it under pressure. Those simple words, he said, hard work, discipline, and dedication. That summarized it all for me in working hard and getting to what I want to achieve in my life.
Did it ever put any pressure on you? As you said, that it's a fear of failure.
Yeah.
It is a very Joseph Murphy, whose book you swear by, right? Power of Subconscious Mind, where he very clearly mentioned that the parents instill that fear of failure in the kids. Did it happen to you? It can work both way, right? It can prepare you for future and the impediments that you might face in future. It'll prepare you with the scenario that success is not always given. You need to earn it. But at the same time, it instills fear in you. So did it happen in your case?
Not really. The way he put it across was in a brilliant manner. And now I realize it. Man coming from that kind of background, not that well educated, but the experience he had about life and how he made himself a top athlete, I think those words were fantastic. So what he used to do with me was he used to tell me all the time, practice hard, hard work, discipline. And then in the evening, we used to sit down and he used to tell me stories about success, about winning, about different athletes who had done very well for India. And then he used to do a lot of shero shayari with me. So, he used to say, I said, I don't understand, Dad, aap kya bol rahe ho? Mere ko samajh nahi aa raha hai. Kehte, no, I'm going to explain it to you. So his favorite, if I may, I want to repeat these two shares he used to.
Oh, sure.
Amazing. And they will stay with me for the rest of my life. His favorite was, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि खुदा बंदे से पूछे कि तेरी रजा क्या है.
Wow.
So I said, Daddy, तुम मेरे को आप bouncer दे रहे हो. तो मैं कहते, बेटा, I'll explain to you. This is the first time when I heard it. So he explained it to me. He said, you should work so hard that God should be so impressed with you that he should ask you, what do you want? So I said, ठीक है, ये भी समझ आ गया. So things like this, he, in fact, in a way motivated me. I had a lot of pressure being Milkha Singh's son. Agar Milkha Singh ji was top, you have to be top.
So that pressure was there with you?
Always.
Always. Huh?
Always there.
Right.
But I used it in a positive sense.
That is brilliant, because I know about few sportsmen in India whose next generation, their sons haven't made that big as the father, because I think they succumbed under the pressure of performance that your dad has created. He was a legend. You need to match up to him. But you had that pressure too, but you turned it on its head.
Yes.
And you made it an inspiration for you.
That's right. I basically used that pressure to push me to become better and take it on. मैंने कहा अगर pressure ही नहीं है तो मजा नहीं है game खेलने का. I won't wake up in the morning. I won't practice. I will not go to the gym. I won't have a proper routine. End of the day, that's what got me going.
I tell today's parents, if I get an opportunity, and I say that from my own mistake, is that one of the parents needs to be a true friend and no pressure. Every parent, Indian parent, I've heard you say that Indian parents are very, very keen for their kids to succeed in the long run and professionally successful. So for your case, how did your mother play the role in that dining table discussion?
Oh, they were fantastic. It was a perfect combination, I would say.
Oh, this was teamwork.
Yeah. It was teamwork. I couldn't have had better parenting, honestly. If I could do that to my son, I think I would be a very fortunate human being.
No, but the time has changed. You have to remember what was good for you may not be good for your son today.
So I'll give you a very good example what my mother and father used to do. My dad was this person who was very firm and very strict. And mother was the comforting part.
Yeah.
So I used to have a lot of arguments with him also. It was not all perfect. I said, no, Dad, it doesn't work like this. Then I said, Mom, Dad is saying this. Why is he saying this? It's not right. All the time.
So you had a fallback. You had a cushion in your mom.
Yeah. And she used to say, don't worry. He's got the experience. Don't worry. Just listen to him. I said, okay. So the good part was that this was my childhood. I used to always, and whenever I misbehaved, my mom used to check me. But the good part with both of them was they said values have to be right.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing. Discipline, be honest in what you do, whatever your profession may be, and work hard.
That's it.
And the good part was the way the routine was in the house was fantastic. After school, Mom and Dad came back from office. They had government jobs. Everybody had to be on the dining table. You could have no excuses. Dinner, everybody 8 o'clock in the evening on the dinner table. You want to go meet friends, you want to go outside to party, do after that. But dinner has to be together.
Oh, that was brilliant.
And Barunda, I'll tell you something which was amazing. I turned pro in 93.
Yes.
I never touched alcohol. before that. I went to college in America, parties hota tha, everything, but I didn't want to. So Dad came with me to Malaysia for some tournaments. I finished.
First time you had your drink with your dad.
And my first drink was with my father, who became my best friend.
Yeah, I realized that.
I gave him my prize money. I finished second in my first Malaysian tournament. It was a TDC tournament. I gave him the prize money. I said, thank you, Dad, for what you've done for me in my life. Gave it to him. He said, son, would you like a drink? That's what he said. Work hard, but would you like a drink? I said, no, Dad, I won't. Today I won't have a drink, but some other time. So this was in 93. And I'll tell you a funny episode, which I remember, which he kept repeating himself as years went by. Then I started drinking with him in 94. So every time when I went to the third drink, and we lived together in Chandigarh, and I used to always go down to my mother's room, and Dad used to come there, and we used to sit, and he used to say, son, would you like a drink? I said, yes, Dad, I would like a drink. So एक पिया, दो पिए. जब मैंने third drink डाला, so he used to look at my mother and says, Mama, ये sportsman है. Third drink पी रहा है. Mom used to say, आपका nerves weak हो जाएगा, मत पियो इतना. मैंने कहा मैंने third ही डाला है. कहते sportsman 2 से ज़्यादा नहीं पीते. नहीं तो पीते ही नहीं है. So this was amazing. So every time till 2020, every time I used to come back from tour and I used to just enjoy my drink with him. Heart to heart.
So did you drink on the tour, during the tour?
Yes, I did.
But moderate. Yeah.
But during tournament days, I never drink.
So it's a very lonely time for golfers or tennis players and all.
Yes.
As cricket, football and all, you travel as a team, but you traveled as an individual.
Yes,
right?
as a loner. And
as a loner.
It's very difficult. And you're traveling from one country to the other country. Week. Monday is a travel day. Sunday, you fly back to your tournament finishes. And then next following Monday, you fly to the next country or next venue, wherever it is. So it's very difficult.
So on the parenting bit, I wanted to ask, because you have so much of global exposure. I don't know. I'm at a loss a little bit. Because I was, I think that I was a great dad, in the sense that I was very concerned for my son. I looked after him, and then I gave him the space. I was never I was not very demanding, right? I only had told him that whatever you want to do, but try and excel there. Our Indian parents are a little bit too much onto their kids. I mean, are our lives too full of our kids compared to the international experience?
I think with the culture we have in India, I feel there's a lot of pressure that is put on a child to do well. In parenting, I personally feel a child should be treated after a certain age like a friend. And as parents, we should give them opportunities, what they love doing.
Yes.
That is the most important thing.
Most.
If the child, like my example was, my dad said, Jeev, you've got to be getting a professional degree. I said, Dad, my love is golf. He understood. He said, but you've got nothing to fall back on. But he understood. He gave me that opportunity.
Yeah.
So we've got to, as parents, provide them with this opportunity and give them that guidance and give them that belief system that, hey, you know what? If you believe and you love what you're doing, you will give it your best.
You'll give it your best and you'll excel. The other thing I believe that, which I try to practice, that, instead of telling them what they should do, according to me, that as parents, it's our responsibility to tell them the consequences of various actions and let them take the decision. Like, if the consequence of touching the fire is actually burning your fingers, you mention that if you touch the fire, it'll burn your finger. Then let him learn either. So expressing consequence is very important. And as you rightly said, that yes, one needs to be a friend, where they should not be afraid of coming to you and confide in you. That the last thing that they should do, that they hide.
They should have that trust.
That should have the trust.
That trust should be with the parents that, hey, you know what? I can discuss whatever I want with my
Right.
parents.
And nothing
And
is,
they will understand.
and nothing is the end of the world.
Yes.
You come and
Nobody's a perfect human being.
nobody's.
So the parent needs to understand and explain to the child. Like today I'll give you an example. Today I was giving a lesson to my son, a golfing swing lesson. But I don't coach him, but he said, have a look, Dad. So I'm giving him a lesson. I said, this is not right. He says, no, I feel comfortable. I said, okay, I've told you this is what you're supposed to do. But if you don't listen to me, the game will teach you.
That brings me back to golf, Jeev. It's an amazing game. I've heard about Bobby Jones Jr., who I think was the founder, co-founder of Masters Tournament. It's a brilliant statement he made. He said, golf as a game, it is closest to the game that you call life. And he went on to explain that you might have a bad break after a good shot. You might have a good break after a bad shot. But the fact remains, you got to play the ball from where it lies. Amazing lesson of life. So, did you ever see that by virtue of playing golf yourself, you're better off in dealing the predicaments of life and the way we deal with life? Finally, we have to deal with life, right?
So it teaches you every day is not the same, but whatever is thrown at you, you make the most out of it. And that's what makes you a man, to go out and fend for yourself and handle the situation in the best manner that is thrown at you.
Absolutely.
And you've got to use your mind. You cannot lose it. Because sometimes hit shots, you say, God, I've practiced for years, I've hit thousands of golf balls. How can I hit a shot like this? Such a mental error. But that's life. You got to move on. Like in life, if something happens today, okay, you say, oh, my life is over. You can't give up on life like that. You'll say, no, tomorrow's a new day. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to think my way out and it's going to be better for me. And that's the way I look at life and golf. So I basically tell all these young kids who come to me, they said, sir, what is the best thing you can tell me that I can keep going in life? I said, first thing, never be scared of failure. Fear is the biggest thing that keeps a human being back from performing in whatever they want to do in life, in their own professions. I said, second thing, routine, hard work will give you belief. Third thing, progress equals to success.
Yeah.
In my dictionary.
I tried my hand at golf at some point in time, about 10 years back. I was a natural sportsman. I could pick up the game very quickly. I rushed up to, I think my handicap was 14, 15, which is, better than 1 over within maybe about a couple of years. And our good friend, Mr. Digraj, was my dear friend and coach. But while playing on the course, there are few realizations that dawned upon me. One, I felt that, golf teaches you that if you keep an eye on the result, you lose one in the process. So you really don't look up, you don't lift your head and look at the target. And then Digraj also told me that, listen, Barun, you're not hitting the ball. You're making a perfect swing. The ball happens to be in the pathway of the swing. So that is a brilliant lesson that I've learned on the golf course.
So my question to you would be, Barunda, how did you take this game in your way to put it towards management in your life? And how did you use this game when you played and you got lessons from the garage?
Very, very good question. One, first, I was made to understand that, hello, Mr. Das, Mr. Barun Das, you don't control the life. You only have an area of control for yourself. You only control that. You don't influence the whole world. So stick to your area of control. So your area of control is what you can do. So you take a nice chance, do the same routine. Every time, stand in a particular way, take the swing and let the swing happen. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a restlessness to hit the ball to its right destination. So that is the first lesson of management that I've learned from golf. The second lesson of management, Jeev, is that, as a manager, what we do, we manage people. The very little that I do hands on, right? I put it that as a leader, I do only three things. One, that I take decisions, right? Which is again reflective of golf course. There you have help, but you finally have to decide that what are you going to do in a particular position? Are you going to go? Are you going to? I mean, I'm an amateur golfer. I still have 14, 15 handicaps. So utilize that, or you want to be aggressive on one day and try and play maybe with nine over. So a decision. The second is that that is not much reflective in golf, that we need to guide people when they're stuck. That's how you command your respect. You've got your top management reporting to you. If you just say that deliver me that results, that is not what makes you a leader. When the results are elusive, you also have to tell the team that this is how you can go about achieving that results. But the third, which is very close to my heart, which is man management, right? You got to understand the pluses and the minuses of an individual, which is the first individual is you. According to me, the sharpest person is one who understands his limitations. That calls teaches you very carefully that this is your limitations. You might have seen a brilliant swing, but the ball has traveled 200 meters with a 7 iron, but you're not going to going to tee off with a 7 iron and try for 700 meters. Play to your limits. Golf is the only game, correct me if I'm wrong, where you said you're in the nature, but you also are playing against yourself, right? And you're playing with a ball which is in static condition, right? In all of the games, if you see, it's very dynamic.
Moving, yes.
Right? It's a badminton. If you see the shuttle, the ping pong ball, the hockey ball, the cricket ball, you're always in a very dynamic situation. As a batsman, you're reacting to a moving ball. But golf is a situation where you have one ball which is static there. And all you have to beat is yourself.
Beautifully worded, Barunda, honestly. It is a game, like we have a saying on tour, this is not a perfect game. You only learn from this.
Every day.
Every day. It's a learning process. This little ball teaches you how to conduct yourself. It teaches you how to behave with human beings when you meet them on and off the golf course, and how you manage yourself under pressure and in adverse situations, like the weather is not good that day on the golf course, but you've got to play with your own limits.
You teamed up with Tiger Woods. I mean, he might be called the GOAT, right? The greatest of all time in Tiger Woods. So, I could relate with that. I'll tell you why I could relate with that. When I was just leaving my college, in college, I picked up one game, which I don't know whether you call it a game or not, which is bridge. So when I entered in my engineering, so I saw that the fourth year students, they were going to Michigan to play the World's Junior Bridge Championship. So I said, to hell with your electronics subject. That is far more lucrative. So I studied more bridge than electronics in my engineering days. So when we were leaving college, I actually got selected for the national junior team for bridge. And in that year, I think 1990, the Southeast Asian Championship was to happen in Bangladesh. We had a cyclone in Bangladesh, so it got washed out. So the championship shifted to Delhi. Unfortunately, in Delhi, no junior team landed up. So only senior people came, and I and another person were the only two junior players from India. So the organizers felt pity on us. He said, okay, you guys play with the seniors. So we played with the seniors. So that was a lifetime experience for me, because I could see Zia Mahmood playing in the same round. Zia Mahmood, I can tell you that he's like the Tendulkar of bridge or Tiger Woods of bridge. So seeing him playing just a few tables away was like a lifetime experience for me. Now, you obviously are a pro golfer yourself. But what was your experience when you were teeing off with Tiger Woods?
So this was in 2007. I was paired with Tiger at US Masters. It's
US
called
Masters.
the Augusta National Golf Course. And my pairing was Tiger Woods, Stuart Sink, and myself, the first 2 days.
Yeah.
So on the driving range, I went and introduced myself. Tiger was the hottest player, and I still feel that what he's done for golf, he's changed the dynamics of golf. And he was the best player I've ever played with. So I walked up to him on the driving range and I said, Tiger, don't be nervous today because there are going to be a lot of Indians following me. So I was just joking with him. So he says, yeah, don't worry about it, Jeev. I've seen you play, so we'll have a good time today. So we tee off. On the first hole, we tee off, and the first hole it's downhill, and then it's a steep slope up. As you're walking up, and he says, Jeev, I see a lot of white Indians following us today. Basically, sense of humor, amazing. He's witty, but amazing, a good friend. And he's done a lot for the game. My experience was fantastic with him. In fact, I played well that week. He encouraged me, and he said, last hole, I had to make this putt. So he says, Jeev, hole it. Just go for it. So normally another opponent doesn't it's an individual sport. So normally another opponent doesn't say that, hey,
Your own
go for it.
Go
You're
for it.
just engrossed in your own game and you just focus on yourself. So he says, Jeev, he walks up to me and I'm lining up my putt. He says, just hold this, brother.
So was it a pressure tactic?
No. It was basically, he was pulling for me that, hey, hold this putt. Right. Because there was a lot of people there. He wanted me to hold that putt. I just missed out on that putt. But at least he made a very positive statement to me that, hey, you know what? Do it. So that was very nice. That was an amazing experience.
So tell me something. Where did you lack? You played with him. You followed him. You've seen a lot of game phase. Where did you lack? What separates a Jeev Milkha Singh and a Tiger Woods?
I think the only difference between when Tiger was at his best and when I was playing my best was the belief system. Tiger believed that he's the best. He had high goals for himself. He had high goals set for himself. He believed when he walked onto the golf course that he's the best and nobody can beat him.
So you didn't follow that?
I tried to, but I couldn't do it. So I basically worked very hard mentally that, hey, you know what? I'm best. But one day I played better than him. But the next day, he was consistently doing it. So like I said,
he believed from within. That is another. There's a trade-off that you have. I mean, in belief system, which might sometimes be misinterpreted as arrogance and modesty. So as a modest person, you're not supposed to believe that you're the champion. But the moment you start believing that you're a champion, you might be considered an arrogant person. So which is, I think, in the belief system of India, that we don't believe in bringing that aggression in our belief system that I'm the best. Rather, we are too keen to hail others, to accolade others, saying that you're the best. So that's something Indian sports needs to change, I believe. We have a very good saying in golf. Don't talk, let the clubs talk. If the clubs talk, the world will hear it. If you talk, nobody's going to hear. So you were somewhere there, very close to that, where people started idealizing you, that we want to be like Jeev Milkha Singh. Do you think India can do this catching up in golf? For sure. We've got enough talent in our country, but the system has to be in place. I feel, and I request the government always, whenever I'm interviewed anywhere in the world, that Indian government needs to have more public golf courses and public driving ranges, where this game is not considered an elite game in this country. An opportunity can be given to anybody. He can walk in there and say, I want to play golf. Yes, you can play golf. If you're good enough, at least you've tried. Like Francis Boymet, the greatest game golf ever played. I saw that movie. Yeah. So if that is there, that is fun.
Second, if we have enough good coaches and we have enough good golf courses now. The third thing, which is the most important, is how much do you believe in yourself? What are your goals? You just want to be a top Indian player? Would you want to be a world champion? You got to set high standards for yourself.
So that will be inculcated. First the infrastructure has to be
Infrastructure.
The thought that crosses my mind is that let's say the IPL example.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the IPL has broad-based cricket to an even larger extent in India. So I was wondering that we had that similar IPL format in Kabaddi, which is a great hit. You have in soccer ISL, and I hope that over a next few years or a decade, India's ranking in the world football would rise. I think that is a low-hanging fruit for India to start something like IPL in golf. I think our close friend Digraj has tried this IGL. So that is something that we need to work towards, and also we need to know that government can do to a certain extent they can. The government is very conducive to sports over the last few years. If you see the kind of accolades, infrastructure support, etc., that government has given to sports is commanding, and the results are visible. Be it Olympics, be it Asian Games, we touched 100 medals this time. But do you think that we could do something ourselves, like the corporate world and the golfers like you, who are legends in their own rights, that bring in IPL kind of a format in India?
Brilliant idea. And I think it started already in India, in every club. So they have that IPL format in Chandigarh Golf Club. They have it at Delhi Golf Club, which the garage is running at the Delhi Golf Club. There are about 12 teams and all the membership gets involved. Each team consists of about 18 players. And it's such a buzz at the golf course and it is so competitive. Now that same thing is introduced to the professionals and it's telecast in our country. It's going to be a success story.
Yes. So we
like Live is. Barunda, Live is such a brilliant idea. Top players and plus a team event. And it's basically just like IPL. If that same thing is introduced in India, I think golf will go to the next level in our country.
You spoke about Live Golf, which is, according to me, I echo your thoughts that it's going to do great for golf because they're bringing in more money into golf. And I think while everybody was surprised by that union of US PGA and PGA and Live Golf, but finally it'll augur well for the players, and that's what counts, right? And this set, we would take it up because it just occurred to me as I was preparing myself for my discussion Duologue with you, that this is the low-hanging fruit. Why this is another important instrument for India? Because if you look at this India story, right? India has come of age, right? There's a rise of global South, rise of India is very imminent. It's going to happen. Fifth largest economy will climb up to the third spot. But imagery is important, right? We heard about sports washing. That is a term is often used. I think 416 BC, when the first idea of Olympic came, when Athens and Sparta, they were at loggerheads. So Athens wanted to prove their supremacy in an imagery format so that people start thinking that Athens cannot be written off. They started that kind of an Olympic, which was a chariot race. And then Nazi Olympic 1936. And in modern time, we've seen China, Russia, Qatar. They all have used sports for kind of get rid of their negative imagery. But sports can be taken as a tool for building positive imagery. And that's where I think there's an opportunity that's looming over us.
Even if you're not a top athlete, you're a mediocre athlete. At least
you still
you're secure with a good job with enough earning to feed your family and send your kids to a good school.
That's
and
absolutely.
give them a good education.
Yes, which is what.
And that is what a developed nation is. And that's what India is moving towards. And I'm sure Liv must have seen the success of IPL, and that's why they started this.
They've taken lessons from
I
IPL.
think so. That's my thinking. Because it's a team concept with individuals also playing. They've modified it a little bit. And they're selling teams also, and you can buy teams.
It's almost like IPL, yeah.
IPL. So I think it's a success story. And the way it's done in the last 2 years, I think it's a great opportunity for the top players and the players who are coming up in the world to make a good livelihood.
And I think we can take inspiration from what Gopi Chand had done from badminton, right? He was the second All England champion after Prakash Padukone after 2 decades. But now we have several number of players in the top 50 ranking in the world. So an ecosystem can produce champions in India. And sometimes, the space, the land could be expensive in urban area, and it is still an elite sports. Maybe we need to spread ourselves to the rural areas, then promote the golf tourism. The Koreans, I'm told that the Koreans during the winter season, where 2 months they can't fly, in late December up to February. So they earlier used to en masse with the trainer and the student. They used to go to Australia and train them. Now that became expensive, so they are looking at Southeast Asian countries. So promote golfing tourism, so that the commerce part of it is taken care of, and spread golfing. Let's say you have today from Delhi, you can drive 1.5 hours, 2 hours somewhere, and you have a golfing resort where golfers can make a weekend trip, or can go across there and have a camp and learn their games. So those are the kind of things that we need to work on. So we would be committed to it, Jay, that we will be in touch now that Duologue has reunited us after 20 years.
Yes.
So we'll be in touch and we'll move towards it.
Awesome.
Okay, all right. So we wind up. Thank you very much, Jeev, for being part of.
It's nice talking to you and catching up with you after 2 decades. But it's like just catching up like old times.
Old times, yeah.
It's been
And
great.
I have not, and I don't think many have heard you as much as you spoke today. As you said that you let your club do the talking always.
That's right.
So we have a small ritual. I have this small gift for you. It is a Duologue pen.
Oh, thank you so much.
And this is a Duologue book. All my guests pen down their thoughts in this. So
perfect. I'm going to use this pen.
Yes, if you could write down your thoughts for Duologue and for me.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Jeev. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me here. But Barunda, I would like to give you something. This is very precious to me. It's an autobiography of my father, signed by himself.
Signed by himself. Wow.
So a few are left, and I wanted to present you with this. And the story behind this is that obviously I get very emotional because my parents are lost in 5 days. And what they've done for me, I can never forget. And I'm a product of parenting, which I hopefully can live up to. And it is the only reason I'm playing golf today is because of them. I gave up playing golf in 2021 because I went under for 6 months. I couldn't take the shock. And what came my way in those 5 days, I think a lot of human beings in this country and all over the world felt that. But I didn't touch a club for 6 months. I went under. But in 2022, I decided I'm going to play golf and I'm going to play for them and I'm going to win for them. And this is something very special, and it's nice talking to you.
I am very touched, Jeev, and that makes us two in this room. I am also a product of my parents' parenting. They are no more here, but I live every day thinking that they're still seeing me, they're still around. And while I never did those rituals one son would have done after their demise, but I remember them every day. And thank you very much. I knew Milkha uncle personally. I've met him a couple of times, and I see my father in every father. And thanks a lot, Jeev, for handing it over to me. It's one of the best gifts that I've received. Thanks a lot. Thank you.